The Essential Education projector range from Hitachi sponsors ICT programs.
Are you looking to trip the light fantastic with ICT resources for primary dance? Well, today on a Resource Review ICT special, we're taking to the floor with 3 resources that might be worth a twirl. They are a dance performance with lesson ideas on CD-ROM, a CD-ROM of dance games and activities, and dance performances on CD to accompany a fairy tale musical. Recommending today's resources, we have Claire Pring, an AST who specialises in dance for Staffordshire LEA. On the panel is primary teacher Andrew Flynn from Gordon Primary School in Eltham, South East London, and freelance education consultant Adrienne Jones. Over in the test lab, our ICT investigator Matthew Tosh will be putting his best foot forward to give us a tour of the resources. So Claire, your first choice of resource for us today is the Wild Child CD-ROM. Explain this one to us and why you like it.
It's a very detailed CD-ROM and resource here. It's based on a piece by Ludas Dance Company, and it looks at a particular work, and each section has very detailed, very precise sections to it.
So is this very much a teacher resource or something for the pupils to use?
This is one for both. This will help teachers have very detailed lesson plans with very thorough dance knowledge. The students themselves will be able to look at the work, they can look at different sections of the piece from various angles, and it also deconstructs the work and able to look at the information involved to then build up their own choreographies based on the repertoire.
OK, now it's not a particularly cheap resource. What is it for you that makes it stand out?
It's so thorough. It's an investment piece. If people buy this, they will be able to work with it for a very long period of time. OK,
thank you very much, Claire. Now let's go over to the test lab to see what Matthew thought about the Wild Child CD-ROM.
This is a dance resource based on the Ludas Dance Company's performance of Wild Child. It's based on a true story of a young boy. Now the resource comes with 3 discs. The first one shows the actual dance performance. The second disc is the creative dance work one, and this is the one we're going to look at here. And the final one is a music disc. It features all the music from the performances, so you can use that in a classroom. The disc we've got here, though, has lots of dance clips that children can watch and imitate. Now, I found some good ones for primary children under the performance section, and so we'll have a look in here. We'll go to the repertoire and then acquisition solo. Now, there are 2 sections here, and this is mirrored throughout the disc. The first one is where children can watch and learn about a particular movement. And the good thing about this is we have 2 views. So we're going to watch it from the front first. So there's my movement from the front, but we can now get a back view. Now I think that's really good because on a big screen like an interactive whiteboard, it'd be really clear for children to see the same movement from 2 angles. Now once you've mastered that, you go to developing the performance section, and this is where you can study the movement in a little bit more detail. If we look at the focus, first of all we get a couple of screens which could be helpful for teachers. It shows key words that describe the focus during the dance. And then we've got the 2 views again. We'll go to the front view, but when the movie plays this time, there are some key words at the bottom that you can highlight to demonstrate the different focal points of the dance. This could be good perhaps for children on an interactive whiteboard to do in front of the class. Now there are lots of dance clips for children to view here. Unfortunately, I've only had time to show you a couple, but the package does come with lots of paper support. There's loads of lesson plans in here and activities that you can carry out with your classes. But it is quite full, and I recommend that you don't try and read the whole package in one night. One final thing I want to say is about the screen resolution. It's a fixed screen resolution, which means if you try and watch it on a monitor that's really high resolution, the picture actually gets smaller, which could be a bit problematic if you want to look at the dance in detail. So we're running it at 800 by 600, which is what you get on most classroom interactive whiteboards.
Well, somebody who's tried it out with some primary pupils, Andrew, what did you think of it?
Well, they were enthusiastic about it. They liked the fact that it was very bouncy, dynamic, lots of movement in it and things like that. They said they'd be most keen to have a go at it,
Right.
maybe in a dance club and things like that after school, where they'd have a bit more time to experiment.
And how do you think it's best used? Were you using it on a whiteboard?
Yeah, we had a whiteboard and we were showing it to them there, and they found it easy to follow the movements and things like that, to see them, and then it helps them to put them into practice.
So is that something you did in the dance studio away from the whiteboard, or can they really sort of watch
Well, they can see it
mimic?
in classrooms, sort of things. Lots of classrooms have whiteboards now, so they can see it there first, and then they can see it in the hall as well if you've got a whiteboard, and you can use it to demonstrate what you're expecting them to do.
Adrienne, what were your thoughts?
I like the idea of showing children a dance performance and helping them understand what dance is about. But I do have a slight concern about its sophistication. You do need time to explore this sort of thing. You'd want to see it on a whiteboard in a hall where maybe children can imitate some of the moves.
Yeah, so you get that
and reflect
immediacy
it.
of the resource,
'Cause
perhaps.
You don't really want to sit and look at a CD-ROM of someone else dancing when you could want to do it yourself.
I mean, do you think that's important for the pupils to be able to move themselves while watching it?
I think ideally you might watch it first of all in the classroom on the large whiteboard, and then maybe take it through to the hall with a laptop to be able to keep referring back to it at that point.
OK, well, we've got to move on now to Claire's second choice of resource. This is called 3, 2, 1, Go. Tell us about this one, Claire.
OK, this is a very charming resource, particularly for the lower age groups. It has a very lovely little animated frog doing some warm-ups for the children. Very detailed, very engaging.
So again, this is a resource for teachers to use as a sort of demonstration for their pupils, or could pupils get their hands on
The
it?
children can very much get their hands on it, particularly the warm-up section. We have a little frog named Gorf. He has lots of exercises that he can do. There's a real opportunity here for children to be able to select some of the warm-up activities, learn it, and then lead themselves as teachers, so the children become very empowered.
OK, well, great, thanks for that little demo. Let's now go over to see how Matthew got on with it for a bit more of a demonstration.
Whatever you do, don't switch off your TVs. You're about to see a dancing frog on the screen, but it's not one of those annoying mobile phone adverts. This is Gorf, and he takes you through a series of dance activities on the 3, 2, 1, Go CD-ROM. So I thought we'd start with some warm-ups, because this is where you see Gorf showing off his talents. There's some videos here, and we'll have a look at the leg warm-up. There's a whole range of warm-up activities you can choose from, focusing on different parts of the body. You can see these on the right-hand side of the screen. Unfortunately, some of the words don't fit on for different screen sizes, and I found this a little bit annoying. Now, to get to the other sections of the CD-ROM, you can use the drop-down menu. It saves you going back to the startup screen. So we'll have a look at the workshops here, because this is where you can get ideas for classroom activities. The teacher's notes are pretty good. It's the notes section here, and a lot of these are designed to go with specific music tracks. Now, if you put the CD-ROM into a normal CD player, it will actually play all of those music tracks, so it's a double format CD. Well, back on the presentation screen, there's a video example, so we'll just click on the button and have a look. You can get an overview of all the video on the disc just by using the menu and going to the video section. In a similar way, you can look at all of the images that are available. You can see one here about a calming down activity, glued together, and guess the animal. But by far the most colourful activity on here is this Gorf's Groove Machine. It's basically you're in a pond and you have to pick out different instruments to be played in different orders. So let's see, let's have a piano and a marimba, and then when you click on the play button, little Gorf appears and he does a little dance. One thing is though, why a frog? I could have done that. I told them I got a leotard, but they chose the frog for some reason. Strange.
Oh, Claire, I do like the look of this dancing frog, but does the resource really stretch pupils? I mean, physically and mentally, I suppose. Is it just a bit of a gimmick?
There is the gimmick element of a dancing frog, but I have to say, it's just something to get the children engaged. It's thorough, it's detailed, it's accessible to young people, and I think that's its key.
Andrew, tell me how you used this with your class.
Well, it was just a case of using it first as showing them on screen so the children can see it, see what's happening, and then taking it in and having a go at it. It was very easy to use, very easy to pick up, and with these you can see that the notes actually accompany it, so you can take it from there and you can read exactly what's meant to be happening, and again, it's very easy to use.
Adrienne, 2 very positive reviews this side. What did you think?
I thought the notes are the best bit, actually. I had a bit of a problem with Gorf, which incidentally is frog backwards. But I thought children just watching that and trying to imitate a frog moving. I mean, I know it's animated so it looks like a human, but I think you have to be quite careful about, you know, the way you tilt your head and move your head, and you need an adult there to actually support the way children are interpreting things. So I know that's being a bit frumpy.
Let's just ask Claire what you think. I mean, is that an issue?
I think it's a really important point that safety is always addressed in any dance lesson. So I think, yes, it might be something that you as teacher might want to just discuss with the children and make sure that they are aware of all safety issues.
OK, well, thank you all very much. Now time for Claire's third choice of resource. And this is a CD-ROM based around Roald Dahl's Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Claire, explain how this one is a dance resource.
OK, really it's a performance resource that fully integrates dance, drama and music. So it looks at all three, really. Within the sections, there are some things that are very specific to dance. So it does have documents there with quite detailed ideas for lesson plans of how you might make a piece for performance with the children.
And what's in the book, is that essentially recreated as PDF files on the CD?
The PDF files are in quite some detail. It is quite thorough and will lead you through to be able to make something very special for a performance. For all teachers, I think, particularly those who are not confident about taking work all the way through to a performance level.
Right. Andrew, what did you think of this one?
Again, the same thing. I think end of term sort of things, you know, Christmas plays, stuff like that. It needs a lot of work, need a lot of practice to do it, but if you're putting the time in, you'd get something nice out at the end.
Adrienne, how important is it for teachers to get the confidence to put on performances?
It's very important, but I think this is a bit of a two-edged sword, because although it is very detailed and it does support somebody who wants to put on a performance, it does demand quite a lot of interpretation. It is all text-based, you know, all the descriptions of the kind of dance moves that are possible. So I think it is quite a demanding resource.
A demanding one then, this third one, Claire?
I think putting on a performance is automatically demanding,
right.
To be honest. Yeah. So I think, yes, I take your point, but I think if you're being asked to put on a performance and you're somewhat in the dance terrified, it does lead you through it.
This is one that could help you. OK, well, thank you all very much. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. But to recap, the 3 resources that we looked at were Wild Child CD-ROM and Resource Book from Bedford Interactive, 3, 2, 1, Go CD-ROM from Scottish Youth Dance, and Roald Dahl's Goldilocks and the Three Bears CD-ROM and book from A&C Black. For more information about any of the resources we've talked about today, go to our website. It's teachers.tv/resource review, or if you want, email us resourcereview@teachers.tv. I'd like to say a very big thank you to our panel today, to Claire, to Andrew and to Adrienne. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Resource Review. Bye-bye.
Essential education projectors from Hitachi sponsor ICT programs.